Dale, always good to be out at your place here at the Dixon.
Well, welcome to the Dixon.
Yes.
Yeah.
How's it been going?
Good, good. It's spring has come a little early this year, and we've planted more spring flowering bulbs than ever.
Okay.
It's kind of become a tradition here at the Dixon.
Sure.
I can remember our first year we did bulb plantings. We had about, I think we planted 20,000 spring flowering bulbs.
20,000.
We've done 100,000, and then the number keeps growing, and so we're hooked on bulbs here at the Dixon.
Yeah, I see.
But we could do amazing art exhibitions or whatever, but nothing draws people like the spring flowering bulbs. I think people are tired of the winter, and
Yes.
they're as you said, they're the harbingers of
Yes,
spring.
yes.
And so everybody's ready to get out. The weather's nice, and we're really packed and very accessible to all of Memphis and the Mid-South.
Okay. Yeah, so what do we have here in this bed that you want to start with?
These are the earliest harbingers of spring, really. These are Muscari, or grape hyacinths. They're often called grape hyacinths. They're not true hyacinths, but they are fragrant. And there's white forms. Valerie Finesse is another form, and then there's the dark purple form. Sometimes we mix these and get all three colors in one display. But this is sort of the first thing that kicks everything off.
Yeah, that's good.
And then the next thing that comes on are the true hyacinths. That was a grape hyacinth, which is not a true hyacinth at all. These are hyacinthoides. These are true hyacinths.
Okay.
Have you ever planted hyacinths?
I have not.
Okay.
No.
Well,
I have not.
hyacinths are they're very fragrant, and they're a lot of times they're grown in pots and that sort of thing. But they're sort of an early bulb. Some people are allergic to them. I know Kim Rucker, our cutting garden manager.
Okay.
She can't even handle the bulbs unless she puts rubber gloves on because she'll break out in hives. But they're extremely fragrant. Some people say they're almost too strong in the fragrance. And we've planted off and on a few hyacinths, but this year we planted more because we just acquired a recent painting in the permanent collection of the Dixon.
Okay.
It's a Demont painting, and it's of a famous nursery. It's a very large piece. And it's a piece that focuses on hyacinth fields outside of Ghent.
How about that?
At a very famous nursery.
So where's Ghent?
It's a Belgian nursery. But anyway, it inspired us to plant more this year. And it's the Van Hoyt Nursery. Have you ever heard of Spirea van Hootii?
I have today. How about that?
It's been around forever. It's a classic spirea that a lot of people grow.
Gotcha.
And anyway, it's from that nursery, and they were instrumental in introducing a lot of new plants to Europe. A lot of people think of Holland as being this epicenter of horticulture, but actually early on, Belgian nurseries led the way.
How about that? Learning something new. Okay, good deal.
But this year we're focusing a lot more on daffodils, and there's more to daffodils than just yellow. There's whites, there's pinks, and breeders are trying to get some red cup daffodils and other things, and so this year we decided to have all the divisions of daffodils represented in our cutting garden. So we still have tulips elsewhere on the property, but mostly here it's daffodils.
So is it daffodils, buttercups, jonquils? What is it?
That's a great question. And my mom always called them buttercups. And then so I knew someone who called them Easter lilies, which is so far from. But anyway, buttercups are ranunculus is the genus for true buttercups. But narcissus is the genus of daffodils. And so some people say jonquils. You ever heard the term jonquils? Well, jonquilla is one of those 13 divisions that I mentioned. It's one set of it, but they're all narcissus. So you can call them daffodils is probably the correct thing, or narcissus would be the Latin name for them. But these are just coming on, just like the tulips. There's earlies, there's mids, and there's late, and that refers to the bloom time. So we like to layer our bulbs so that one thing takes the stage early, and then that starts to fade, and another one comes up, and because it gives us a long bloom season, because everybody wants to know, when are they going to be peaking?
Yes.
And I never know. This year they're coming on early. Last year they were late, so you never know. But that hedges our bets because we have a long bloom season.
Gotcha. Good.
Here's some white hyacinths here in this bed. Look here. Oh, this is a one we planted. This is a cultivar called Martha Stewart, and it's just starting to bud up. So this one will probably be a mid-season. What you're seeing mostly are the earlies.
Okay. Martha Stewart, I like that.
It's a blustery day here at the Dixon.
Yes.
The wind is here. We had some rain move in, and it beat down a lot of the daffodils that were blooming. But look at this. This is Ceylon. And isn't this nice?
This looks good.
Ceylon is a really nice choice. it's standing up strong, and what you want in a good show daffodil is you want it to stand up strong and be facing you, you know, when it's in a vase on the show bench. And so this is a real strong grower, and I mean, this is hurricane proof almost. I mean, we got 50-mile-an-hour winds and rain last night, and it still looks good. So this is Ceylon, which is a real winner. You can see the angle of the flower, which makes it a really good show flower, and they're coming on.
So let's talk about this for a second. So what if somebody wanted to cut these and bring them inside and put them in a vase?
That's a really good question. You know, you don't really cut daffodils.
Okay.
You pick daffodils.
You pick them, right?
Yeah, and the reason you pick daffodils is because there's a virus that can get in the bulbs.
Good.
And here in the Mid-South, the tulips don't come back every year very well for us, but the daffodils do.
Gotcha.
So if they're in the ground and you want them to live a long time, if you had a virus in one bulb and you went through and cut a bunch, you'd be spreading it from one to the next to the next. So you pick daffodils.
Pick them.
Yeah, and so I was with Brent Heath last spring, and I had he grows a lot that he ships out as cut flowers, and so I had the privilege of working one morning with him, getting bundles of daffodils, and it was a great morning in Virginia. But so what you do is you would reach down in, all the way down to the base, and just give it a snap. And then you can go in and cut it afterwards and put it in warm water.
Warm water.
Water, tepid water, not hot water, but warm water. And then we have a floral cooler, and we put them in the floral cooler. And the reason you use the warm water is it opens up all the pores and allows it to start soaking up the water. But if you were cutting them and you were going to ship them like I was doing with Brent, you would want something that's just showing color like that, and you would reach down in and take that one out because that's going to continue to open in the vase, and it'll give you a long season. This is going to start senescing sooner.
Okay, gotcha.
But Ceylon, it's a really good one for us, and an early one.
Wow. So Dale, you know, usually people talk about braiding the daffodils. How do you feel about that?
Well, in terms of daffodil culture, we don't recommend braiding daffodils. Okay. It actually damages the leaves, but you do have to leave the foliage up after they flower, and that's a problem for a lot of people. Okay. Because the daffodils come up, they're beautiful, and then you're dealing with this foliage sticking up until, say, May, in the Mid-South anyway. In May, the foliage starts to die back, and then they sort of disappear, and then you're reminded next spring. But they're perennial plants. They come back every year. Don't braid them. Just let them die down naturally.
Do animals like daffodil bulbs?
No, they're actually toxic. The daffodils are. The tulip bulbs, on the other hand, everything loves them. Rodents, deer, and like I said, they tend to rot here in the Mid-South, so they're not perennial for us. So they're kind of one-shot wonders, which is a lot of work. Like I said, this year we planted 350,000 spring flowering bulbs. And unfortunately, because we're going to be growing other crops in here, we'll have to remove all these bulbs at the end of the season. Our volunteers love it because they get to take tons of daffodils that'll come back for decades. Sure. In fact, there's a flower farm. It was a flower farm, then a winery out in Cordova, not too far from the extension office here, and every spring, jonquilla daffodils come up that are probably 100 years old, and they still continue to come up and bloom, and they're extremely fragrant.
It's pretty impressive. But yeah, we can definitely tell you like daffodils and tulips and all that good stuff. So thank you, Dale. We appreciate that. Thanks for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. To find out more information on this topic, just click on the familyplotgarden.com link in the description.